This is the Fourth and Forever podcast. I am your host, Josh Kirby, and let's get into it.
That's a W.
What is up, everybody? We are moved. I am now from Maryland to Georgia. It is a change of pace. I've been getting settled. Sorry we couldn't put a lot of content last week between moving and me trying to find a job here and get more established. It's been a busy week, but it's also been crazy. Now that I'm staying in Georgia, close to Augusta, Masters around here, I get to really see how a city changes for the tournament, which is pretty exciting. I know I'm really excited for it. And March Madness just happened. Congrats to Michigan on a huge win. Uh, I definitely didn't have them pulling it out. I thought Arizona would pull it out by the end. That was incredible. But you know what we do? We talk football here. So I want to get into it. The first big story for my Ravens is Lamar Jackson. The whole question was he going to show up to OTAs? Was he going to show up to quote unquote, not mandatory, but it's not mandatory training? Lamar has not done it in previous years under the Harbaugh regime, so people were debating, is he going to do it under a new coaching staff and show his willingness to learn the offense and participate, and he did. It's actually incredible. He showed up for day one. Declan Doyle and Jesse Minter made the statement that they want him to establish their day one to get to know the people, the offense, the staff, and I think it's wonderful. It definitely leads a breath of fresh air almost leading into the NFL season, knowing that Lamar Jackson is fully balled in. Where this goes from here, I don't know. I still think the Ravens really need to attack heavy in the draft, add maybe another piece on offense, draft us some guards. Still, I would like another edge rusher since the Max Crosby deal didn't go through. Even though I like Trey Hendrickson, I don't love Trey Hendrickson, so I'd really be happy with another edge rusher, whether in a middle to late round or even go signing a guy that's still out there. And like I said, receiver wise, I think we can go grab a receiver that hasn't been signed yet, such as a guy like Stephon Diggs, or even bring back DeAndre Hopkins, or even OBJ, who I have to say in the flag football tournament still showed he's got insane athleticism and great hands. He's probably the healthiest he's been in a couple years. So there's definitely debates going around about what we should do and where we should go with that. But overall, I'm just happy that Lamar showed up and that we really can get this offseason underway on a good note. Person that has not got the offseason off on a good note is the man Puka Nacua. They always say when you give young athletes, or in general, young people, the ages of early 20s, all this money, and then have them, they can go live whatever life they want to live, you never know what's going to come with that. I mean, I'm about to be 27. I can tell you right now, 22, if someone gave me a couple mil, I may have made some bad decisions myself. And I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate to that. I'm sure a lot of people made really bad decisions in their early 20s. We see how many athletes get corrupted from it. I will acknowledge that for Puka, it was phenomenal that he is going to go to rehab and kind of get his mind and get his body back on track, which I think is phenomenal. I think focusing on your mental, your emotional, your physical, overall health is a sign of someone that not only can acknowledge his flaws, but has good people around him that supports him and wants him to take the right steps to basically not to save his career, but really reestablish the life he wants to live based on the allegations and everything. It's a lot. The Rams organization does not like dealing with that stuff. Ramsey, they felt like they knew bringing him in, he could be sometimes a headache, but not really off the field, more so just he's a lot. And they moved off him when it took a chance. They didn't keep OBJ there very long because he can be a lot. This is an organization that doesn't want to deal with a lot. I could really see them drafting a receiver in the draft. Now, a lot of you know that I think the athleticism of Makai Lemon is phenomenal. I've heard the Rams organization loves him. That's probably who they're going to pick with their first pick in the draft. I personally, even though his athletic upside is huge, in my opinion, I'd rank him about the fourth best receiver in this draft. I mean, just to rank him for who I like, I would have Carnell Tate above him. I'd have Jordan Tyson from Arizona above him. And I would talk about him later, but I'm a huge Denzel Boston guy. I think he's going to pop in this league pretty quick, and he is one of the most underrated players in this draft. But we'll get to that later. But what Puka is doing is going to better himself and really better things moving forward, hopefully for him, his family, and the organization that surrounds and believes in him. And this is a Rams team that is all in. They traded first round picks to go get Trent McDuffie. They've signed a corner in Jalen Watson. They're doing extensive work to build a team that is Super Bowl ready now because they know Stafford, even though he's coming back next year, we don't know how many years of Stafford they have, and they don't really have a contingency plan there at quarterback. You got two young running backs you want to get the most out of. You got Devontae Adams who ain't getting any younger. You got Puka who's dealing with these problems, and you want to get that right so you can have Devontae, Puka, and whatever third receiver you bring in as a solid core to help Matthew Stafford at his age deliver the ball and produce at a high level again. I mean, he's coming off an MVP year, so we have to believe that there's going to be a lot of focus on what can they do now. He reached his individual success. They won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. It's time to see where this team is going moving forward. Now, another team that had a lot going on in the offseason, that has another huge problem in their hands, the New York Giants. They have a new football coach in John Harbaugh, which is, you know how I feel. I loved Harbaugh with us. I thought it was time for him to go, but I think he's going to do phenomenal here in New York. I think he's going to do a great job. I think he's taking over a team that is a young roster that's ready to start stacking up real quality wins with Jackson Dart, who I think has a real. I think his floor is not as low as people think, and I think his ceiling is a lot higher than people believe. I think he's got all the athleticism you want. He's got a great arm, not elite arm, but a really, I think, great arm. He's got good movement. He's got a good head on his shoulders. You're going to have a good running back team with Scatterbo, possibly Tyrone Tracy, or if you guys go, depending on what you do in the draft, you might bring in another receiver to add to Malik Neighbors. If they go out and get Carnell Tate, I wouldn't hate on that, even though I think they're going to attack and add to their defense because their back end of their defense was their weakness last year and seems like still to be their weakness this year. But the biggest issue for the Giants is they were not able to get any contract negotiations done with Dexter Lawrence. So now, Sexy Dex, his nickname, y'all know, he's asking for a trade. He is one of their best defensive players. Now, his production did drop a little bit last season, but let's just put it in the whole spectrum of things. Dexter Lawrence had 30.5 career sacks, 5 career forced fumbles. He had 9 sacks in 2024 when he only played 12 games. We saw a dip in his production last year, but is he worth re-signing? I believe so. I believe you're going to have to pay him maybe a little more than you would like, but I think bringing him back, sealing up that middle, he's a great run stuffer. He's good at getting after the quarterback. He has a lot of versatility to his game, and I think that brings a lot of advantages to this team. Their front seven is one of the best in the league with him. Without him, now you got a little bit of gaping hole in the middle, and you're going to have to address that. The thing is, I don't think there's a lot of elite defensive tackles in this draft, so you're not going to be able to address it right away. It's one of those positions that you might have to get in depth, or you might have to go get a cheaper guy in the market that's not going to have the same level of production. Plus, the Giants fans do love Dexter Lawrence. He's got a good team vibe, good organization vibe. I think there's all vibes really do matter in the locker room, and letting go a guy with good vibes can be risky. I mean, we saw what happened when they let Saquon go. The vibes were really weird and funky. Luckily, you bring in Dart and Scatabo. Vibes are good again. Vibes do mean a lot in a locker room. You want the team to feel up, feel energetic, feel excited about their season. And even if they're not stacking wins, they feel like they're looking towards something to stack those wins, which is huge in my book. Now, if I was other teams out there, such as the Bills or the Bears, or even like the Jaguars, teams that feel like they are ready to compete now, but might be a couple defensive players away from getting there, this is a guy you want on your team. Like I said, the vibes he's going to bring is positive. His production is a high tier production. His run stuffing ability is really huge. Throwing him on a defensive line on anywhere is going to have immediate impact. But specifically for the teams that are looking to contend and need to improve their defense, he will be an immediate production adding. Uh, Bears would be my favorite. I think it's hard to trade within the same conference. That doesn't happen as often as you would like, because then generally the Giants they don't want to see the Bears later and have Dex ruin their season. But at the same time, I think the Bears have the best offer to go get him. I have the Bears taking probably an edge or a D lineman later in the draft anyway. I could see the Texans maybe being interested, as I think they need to add another piece on that D line just to shore up that run stuffing ability. But And the Bills, I think that's an older defense for the last couple of years. If you could really match him and Ed Oliver up on the front, they have a lot of names on that front line, but the production has not been as high as you would like with all the names on that front line. So I think it could go either way there. But I think that is worth looking into if I was any team, and if I was the Giants, you better get a good haul for him. They should, I would say, you should get close to what Dallas paid the Jets for Quinn Williams. If you can get a first round, two first round picks in some sort of way, or a first and a couple seconds, you really should maximize this offer for the trade. He's not going to show up to these OTAs. He might not show up to mandatory minicamp. He might take the fine. As a lot of these players don't mind taking these fines, knowing that when they get traded, they're going to make enough money off a new contract. Sorry, where it won't be much of an issue. So we'll see how that goes. Next top story: Kirk Cousins signs with the Raiders on a 5-year deal. That is huge. That is huge, not just for the organization, but that is big for future first round number one overall pick Fernando Mendoza. I mean, the stats speak for themselves. A lot of quarterbacks that start right away struggle quick. It's hard. It's hard in this league to get thrown into the fire or into the water and sink or swim. It's like that is a very difficult task. I mean, if you look at the most recent NFL MVPs, I mean, I don't know about Stafford if he started week one or not. I can't remember, but Mahomes, he didn't start his first year. Lamar didn't start week one. Allen didn't start week one. Like, these are guys that are elite talents that didn't start right away. They would just sit and learn and develop. And when there was their time to go out there, maybe they either looked phenomenal or they looked like they had a lot of upside. But they were to take over an offense and not feel like they were getting swarmed immediately. It was something that you see it with a lot of young quarterbacks, like Cam Ward last year was fighting for his life all year long. And maybe sitting behind someone would have been more beneficial to him. So now you're bringing in a guy where Kirk can start the first 4 or 5 games, maybe 6 games, get Mendoza into the offense, and not just that, but Kirk Cousins. It's the Kubiak system. It's a Shanahan system. They're all running from the Shanahan system. He's worked with Clint when he was in Minnesota, so they know each other. His cousin knows this system. It's almost like a plug and play when it comes to him, and he can really help develop the other young talent around him as well. Kirk Cousins looked good by the end of last season. I mean, he wasn't great. I mean, I wouldn't consider him my long term answer or my franchise quarterback, but having him come in and mentor my young quarterback, I think that's a shoe in. Especially their play styles aren't much different. Mendoza's a little more athletic than Kirk, but Kirk wasn't unathletic when he was young. He wasn't. He's like I said, he wasn't deemed the most athletic. It just they have a decent athleticism to him. I mean, but his comp is generally Kirk Cousins or Jared Goff. Like, that's who you compare Mendoza to, someone that's going to be more of a true traditional pocket passer. So bringing in a guy, letting him sit behind a true traditional pocket passer, let him really understand and study the offense, get the timing down. That's something that when he gets thrown out there, you're not worried he's going to fumble and just completely crap the bed game one. Now, I think a lot of quarterbacks that start early, you also like them to have a more high athletic ability, such as they can escape the pocket and not take as many hits. And that's something the Raiders don't have is a great offensive line. You saw Cam Ward running for his life. You've seen like guys like Lamar Jackson in his early years, he ran first before throw. A lot of guys that go out there and start early in their careers, they rely on their legs more than their shoulders and up because they're just it's more natural to them. So I think bringing in and letting a guy that's more of a pocket passer sit is another smarter move. So when he goes out there, he can think mind arm first, not okay, it's breaking down, let me go. Even Caleb did it a lot in his rookie season. He focused on his legs first. And I think as a quarterback performs and develops, they can find a more healthy balance, whether that's, like I said, Bo Nix or Drake May or Caleb Williams or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. All these guys that have the ability to do both can really find a nice balance. And having a guy start in front of you, it just makes an even better situation for your quarterback. But now, I want to talk about personally 5 of my favorite prospects going into the draft. I think next week I might drop another mock draft, probably a 2.0 because I've already dropped my first one, and then see where we're going from there. But these are 5 guys I really wanted to highlight, and I get everyone paying attention because I think these 5 guys, I think at least 4 of these 5 guys are absolute hits and they're going to be immediate impact players on whatever team they go to. And I think one of these guys have a chance to have a long, sustained career. But let's get to it. My favorite corner in the draft, and no, it's not Mansour Delane. It is Tennessee's corner, Jamad McCoy. Everything that I've seen from this guy has jumped off the page. Now, he did miss the 2025 season with an ACL injury, which is pretty tragic. I mean, a lot of people, it's a year of no live reps, a year of no production, a year off from the game where you're not sure what you're getting. But in his 2 years, he encompassed 75 tackles, 6 interceptions, 16 pass breakups. That is a full spectrum of production from your corner. He's got CB1 upside. He's an outside corner. He's a true island guy. He's got comps of Stephon Gilmore, but really, like that's a Revis kind of style. I mean, when you talk about an island receiver, I'm sorry, an island corner, Revis is the name that comes up. Revis Island. So he is going to establish that ability on any defense. He's got elite size. He's got an immediate impact on any team he goes to, in my opinion. He's got elite coverage. He's Because of his production in only 2 years, he's got a smaller sample size. But if he comes back after the injury with the same athleticism that he had beforehand, he's going to jump off the screen. It's going to be kind of like when Sauce and Stingley were both drafted. Sauce may have been drafted higher, but Stingley has established himself as one of the best corners in the league. And I could see that with being a Mansour and Jamad comparison. I could see Mansour coming out as the big, oh, he's going to be drafted before him. He's the big name. He played all last year. But honestly, in 2024, Jamal McCoy was the best corner in college football, and he was considered the best corner prospect. If it wasn't for this injury, he would have been the best corner in this draft. So I think the injury maybe gets him a little overlooked, but I don't think it's a knock on him. I think it's more so a cautionary tale that he took a lot of time to recover from this injury. He took the full season to really develop and get him in shape. He knew he was going in the draft. He was focused on the NFL. Now, what does that say? I think it seems commitment. He's committed to whatever team that takes him. So I know whatever team takes him, he's going to give it his all for that team. I would love for the Ravens to take him at 14 and pair him up with Nate Wiggins and keep Marlowe in the slot. Personally, I would love that. And if he's there at 14, I do think he is the best player available at 14, in my opinion. But we'll see how that falls. But I'm excited to see what he can do in the NFL, and I think everyone else should be. My next is Denzel Boston, wide receiver. He's a big body. He's a possession guy. 60 plus receptions in the past 2 seasons. He's had over 10 touchdowns last season. I think it was over 8 touchdowns the year before. He's a red zone threat. He's a big frame. He's elite at contested catches. And you just can't teach that size and those ball skills. What he's able to do on the field is going to give you an immediate production receiver, and that's what you want. Now, I don't know if he's got wide receiver one upside. I don't know if people are going to think he's the biggest threat on the team. But any team that drafts Denzel Boston is getting an immediate impact guy, a guy that could eventually lead the league in receptions, a guy that could lead the league in touchdowns, a guy that really can produce statistically really well for your team, even if he's sitting at that 2 spot. He's a guy that I think has the most upside of any of these receivers that are getting more overlooked. I mean, everyone talks about Carnell Tate is the best receiver in this draft, and I think for production and size and everything wise, he is, but he's not a headache. He's a good guy, good at football IQ. You see, for me personally, I like him better than Makai Lemon. Even though Makai Lemon's this jump off the screen athlete, he's going to wow you immediately with his speed and his athleticism and his abilities and everything else he does. But is that production going to come along with it? And this guy's interviews, he seemed like he tanked most of his interviews. Boston's just flying under the radar. He's a good guy. Someone's going to steal him in this draft. Someone's going to get him and plug him in immediately and feel like they got the best receiver in the draft. Whether Carnell Tate performs or not, they're going to feel like they got the best receiver in the draft. I could see him falling. I could see him. People say he's probably a second or third round pick. I could really see Seattle taking him with the 32nd pick, or even New England taking him. I really do think you bring him in. I mean, with his style, you want him on Seattle. When Cooper Cup's not going to be there next season, this upcoming season he'll be there, but he's not going to be there after that. So you bring in a guy that has the kind of Cooper Cup ability. He's just going to be there, catch the ball, possession guy. That's what Boston is going to learn and do. And I think for whatever team that takes him, like I said, he's going to be your immediate wide receiver two on your team, and he can have an elite production from that. The next guy I want to talk about is my personal favorite safety in the draft. Even though everyone's all hyped about Caleb Downs, I think a guy with unmatched production and just IQ for football, Emmanuel McNeil Warren. He's a guy that I think Minnesota should target the heaviest. Minnesota's looking to replace Harrison Smith. I don't think there's a better guy in the draft to throw on a defense and just expect a Kyle Hamilton, Derwin James esque impact. He's a guy that's got stats all across the board. I mean, look at this: 60 plus tackles in each of his last 3 seasons, 5 career picks, 8 career forced fumbles. I mean, that just shows that he's able to do a little bit of everything. He can get to the apply pressure to the quarterback. He can match up well with tight ends or running backs coming out the backfield. He can cover deep. He can cover man to man. His versatility is unmatched. I don't think there's a more versatile, more athletic, more tackle focused, ball driven safety in this league. He may not always be making the big plays, but he's always going to be in on the play. If you see a play happen, whether he's on the other side of the field or he's nowhere near it, by the end of the play, he's going to be in the mix. And I think that is an impact that is just unquestioned. He gives me a lot of he gives me those type of vibes where he's going to play hard every single down, and I love that. I personally love that from a player. One of my favorite Ravens of recent memory was Chuck Clark. He was really our the green dot man on our defense. He was calling plays. He wasn't the best safety in the league, but he was in on every play. He was elite at tackling, and he was making plays off the rip every single time. And that's what you want. You want a guy that's always going to be in the thick of it. Now, this guy's got more athletic upside than Chuck Clark, and this guy I think has an ability to have a higher career ceiling. But man, everything he puts out is just like I said. He's elite run stuffer too. Like I said, he may not be a true playmaker. He may not be the swinging the chains, but at the end of the day, you're getting pure production and consistency out of a guy. Like I said, I think Minnesota would be the ideal landing spot for him, but anybody who gets a safety at this level is going to be more than happy. I think he has the ability to be better than Caleb Downs. I think he has the ability to be better than Dylan Feynman. The two people that would say the two top safeties in the draft. I think this guy's the top safety in the draft. Next, from the U, Akeem Mesdor, edge rusher. Now, where he played alongside Ruben Bain Jr. And Ruben Bain Jr. was the best edge rusher last year. Akeem Mesdor might have been the second. This guy's an older player, so when you draft him, you're going to get a true vet on this team. He's got 165 career tackles, 40 plus tackles for loss, 34.5 career sacks with 12 and a half last year. He's elite off the ball, multiple pass rush moves, so that's his veteranness, that's his older ability. He's been doing it a long enough time in college where he's been able to really develop his own skills at a higher level than I think most guys coming out the draft. He's considered undersized to be a defensive tackle, which is okay because he's going to be an end or an edge rusher in this league. He's going to be on a 3-4 defense. He's going to be on the ends. On a 4-3 defense, he's going to be a true edge rusher. That's what he's going to play. I think any team that takes him, especially the right team that plays a scheme that favors into him, even though I think he's versatile in schemes, he's going to be an elite edge rusher. I think he honestly has the potential of being the best edge rusher coming out of the draft because I think his mentality is so. I don't think you can tell it didn't bother him that Ruben Bain Jr. was getting all the attention, was the best guy. He seems like a great teammate. He seems like a production machine. He seems like even if he's not considered the best player on his team, he's still giving it his all every single game. And you're going to look at him and be like, I want that guy on my team. I want to play next to that guy. He gives you all those traits you're looking for. And I really believe he's going to drop probably out of the top 10 in this draft. But I think it's going to benefit him. I think he has the ability where he's going to go to a top contender and he's going to immediately impact that team. If I'm telling you, Eagles weren't able to go get Jalen Phillips. If they get, and the Bears weren't able to go trade for Max Crosby, one of those teams can go get Akeem Mesidor. They're getting a elite production kind of edge, and I think it's an immediate impact. Immediate. And it's going to be really interesting to see how his career takes him. But I'm like I said, I'm telling you right now, I think this is the best pure edge rusher in this draft. Even though I think David Bailey is extremely talented, and I think based on what he's done, he deserves to be drafted. Probably as the first edge rusher off the board. I think Ruben Bain Jr. is going to get drafted above Akeem Mesidor just because he had better numbers overall. But I think based on this league, based on what I know about football, this is a guy you want on your team, and he's a guy that has the best chance, I think, of being a 10-year starter over almost anyone else in this draft at the edge position. Next, a guy that I really, really, really like on the D line, and he's not flashy, he's not big, his production's not huge, but his defensive tackle, Caleb Banks. He is, in my opinion, the best run stuffer in this draft. I think you're going to throw him on the front, and he's going to have an immediate, like Kenny Clark, Vince Wilfork, even Dexter Lawrence kind of impact. You're going to throw him on the solid up front, and he's going to do his thing. You're not going to have to worry about him too much. Now his stats and production don't look impressive. He doesn't jump off the screen. You're not like he's not going to win no defensive player of the years. Like you're not. That's not who you're drafting when you draft him. You're drafting a guy that is going to immediately come on the field and can affect the run game every single play. And that's what some teams really need. Teams that are getting ran all over, this is the guy you want. You want this guy plugged into the middle of your defense because he's going to make a real good impact on that D line. He's, like I said, he's not, the stats don't jump off the board. Not even going to list his stats because nothing looks super impressive. But when you watch the tape, and I recommend everyone go look up Caleb Banks, go watch the tape. What he does and what he can do is just absolutely insane. And I think his production on that D line is going to be a game changer for whatever team that's willing to draft him. It's something that if Matabike was not coming back, I would have loved to throw him on the front line. Teams like the Bears, I think if they can't get Mesidor, this is a guy to get with their later pick. The Broncos, who I think need to bolster up their D line a little more, this is a guy you want to bring in. He is going to be a great player in this league. He's got that ability where he may be a 10-year starter. Now, he may start for 3 different teams, but he's going to have that 10-year starter ability because of the production he's going to put in that run game, and everyone's going to be really excited to have him as part of the roster. But there you go. Those are the top 5 prospects I want people to really know about, 5 of my favorite prospects. Like I said, next week I'm probably going to do more of a second mock draft, maybe have some more things to talk about. I mean, it's been a lot trying to move and get everything established, but I wanted to put this out for everyone. So, hope everyone has a great rest of your day. I appreciate being part of your day, and most importantly, thank you.